Welcome to the SeelenFülle channel. Today we will go deeper into how to dissolve financial pressure within your body and mind so you can think clearly again and regain command of your life. There is a kind of stress that doesn't shout. It whispers. It hides behind a smile, behind a rushed routine, behind a quiet, "I'll figure it out." But inside, it tightens your chest, shortens your breath, speeds up your thoughts as if your mind were a room full of voices speaking at once. And when the subject is money, that stress can become a constant weight, like you're carrying an invisible backpack all day long. You are not weak for feeling this. You are human. And more than that, you are responding biologically to a perceived threat. Financial pressure to your nervous system is not an abstract idea. It is a signal of risk. And that is why today you won't just hear pretty words. You will enter a real state of inner safety, because only from that state can you see a way out, strategy, and decision. When life squeezes you, you try to think, but it feels like your mind turns to fog. You try to plan, but you can't organize. You try to solve it, but your body is tense, and that tension pulls your attention toward the worst-case scenario. There is a clear reason for this. Under extreme stress, the logical part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, reduces its activity. It's as if the lights in your command center dim, so your body can prioritize survival. In that condition, your brain doesn't want you making spreadsheets. It wants you to run, fight, freeze, or distract yourself just to get through. And then you blame yourself for not having clarity, when, in reality, your organism is simply trying to protect you. What changes your life is understanding this. Before solving money, you need to regulate the system that is trying to survive money. Notice with gentleness what financial stress usually does to you. It narrows your world. It turns the future into a threat, the present into urgency, and the past into guilt. It distorts your perception of your own worth, as if numbers on a bank statement were a verdict on who you are. It creates a constant sense of hurry, but paradoxically leaves you stuck. You start the day intending to act, and end it feeling like you only put out fires. And in the middle of all this, your mind becomes hostage to repetitive thoughts. What if I can't? What if it's not enough? What if I ruin everything? What if I never get out of this? The problem is not that you think this way. The problem is thinking this way from inside a body in maximum alert. Because in that state, everything looks bigger, more dangerous, more impossible. Financial pressure becomes a lens, and that lens magnifies fear. Your nervous system speaks a simple language: safety or threat. When it marks threat, it changes your chemistry, your posture, your attention. You may notice that during tight times, you become more irritable, more impulsive, or more numb. You may notice your decisions become extreme. Either you avoid looking, or you try to control every detail as if that could prevent chaos. You may also notice a silent shame, as if you had to solve everything alone, as if asking for help were weakness, as if having a hard season were a moral failure. And here is a delicate point. Financial stress is not only about bills, it is about belonging, deserving, and identity. Because money, in our culture, is often confused with dignity. And that places enormous pressure on your mind. But your mind was not built to carry that confusion for long. It was built to create solutions. Yet solutions only appear when you have inner space again. That is why today you will practice a simple and powerful shift. Instead of forcing clarity inside stress, you will create safety first and let clarity arise as a consequence. Clarity is not an effort. Clarity is a state. It is born when the body understands. I am here, I am alive, I have enough time for the next step. And the next step is always what pulls you out of despair, not the perfect answer. The movement that returns your agency. So for a moment, you can acknowledge this. Your financial recovery begins the instant you stop treating your body like an enemy and start treating it like an ally. You will not overcome financial pressure if your entire energy is trapped in panic. Panic is an energetic field that drains inner resources. It drains creativity. It drains presence. It drains trust. And when trust disappears, you become reactive. You react to bills. You react to messages. You react to fear. Today, you are moving out of reactive mode and back into creator mode, not by magic, but by regulation. Imagine now that inside you there is a portal. That portal does not open by force. It opens through safety, and on the other side of it, there is a version of you who can see possibilities. This version of you is not smarter than you. It is simply calmer. It has access to the prefrontal cortex, to reasoning, planning, and the ability to prioritize. It is not denying reality. It is simply able to deal with reality without drowning in it. And you don't need to wait for things to get better to access this version of you. You need to signal to your nervous system that, in this moment, you are not in immediate danger. Because the real danger right now is being trapped in freeze. The real danger is making desperate decisions. The real danger is believing you are your stress. You can have debt and still be worthy. You can be rebuilding and still be competent. You can be in the middle of pressure and still be a valuable human being, capable of creating paths. And this statement is not sentimental. It is strategic. Because when you treat yourself like trash, you act like someone who doesn't deserve to prosper. When you treat yourself with respect, you begin to act like someone who recovers. Identity is the magnet. Identity is the field. Identity pulls behaviors, choices, and opportunities. And under extreme stress, identity shrinks, becomes a survivor. Today, you will expand again. You will move from "I'm screwed" to "I'm in process." You will move from "it's impossible" to "what is the next possible step?" You will move from "I'm not good enough" to "I learn, I adjust, I advance." Now allow your inner words to shift the frequency of your field. Not as an attempt to deny reality, but as a signal adjustment. Because you cannot build prosperity while broadcasting threat all the time. You become like a radio stuck on an alarm station. What you need is to tune into the station of solutions. Solutions begin when you feel safe enough to look at the truth, without drama, without shame, with clarity. I will guide you through affirmations that do not demand perfection. They ask for presence. And each sentence is an invitation for your nervous system to soften enough for your mind to function again. Let these affirmations enter like quiet warmth, like a light slowly turning on, like a magnet aligning particles that were scattered. I am safe enough to take the next step. I acknowledge my stress without becoming my stress. I return to my center, even when the world feels tight. I allow my body to slow down so my mind can clear. I don't need to solve everything now. I need to begin with clarity. I choose to act from calm, not from panic. I allow myself to think with logic and gentleness at the same time. I can look at my numbers without hurting myself inside. I am not a mistake because I am rebuilding. I release shame and reclaim my dignity. I feel inner safety, and that creates space for real solutions. I return to my decision-making power, one step at a time. I trust my ability to learn how to handle money with maturity. I replace urgency with priority. I replace fear with strategy. I replace self-criticism with conscious responsibility. I choose clarity as my new standard. I have permission to start again with intelligence. I connect with opportunities when I am present. I create mental space to see paths where there used to be only threat. I treat my financial future as a project, not as a disaster. I am building stability, and it is already in motion. I become someone who responds, instead of reacts. I attract solutions because I hold a field of calm and action. I accept help, information, and support with humility and strength. I am willing to do what is necessary without violating myself. I am capable of organizing my financial life with consistency. I deserve to prosper because I exist, and I also deserve to learn. I release the need to prove my worth, and I claim the worth that is already mine. I become the kind of person who handles money with respect. I allow money to circulate with more intelligence and ease in my life. I am opening an inner portal to stability and abundance. Feel how these sentences change the way you stand inside yourself. It's as if you were straightening an antenna. When the antenna is bent, the signal is full of noise. And the noise is panic, shame, confusion, urgency. When the antenna aligns, the signal becomes clear. And clarity is not euphoria. Clarity is calm with direction. It is that state in which you look at a problem and think, okay, I know where to start. Even if the start is small. Even if the start is simply opening your bank app, listing what is due, cutting an expense, negotiating a payment, finding an extra income stream, asking for guidance, reorganizing priorities. What matters is that with your prefrontal cortex online, you have a map again, and with a map, you have a path. When you regulate your nervous system, you are not escaping reality. You are preparing your brain to deal with it. Regulation is the first step for any consistent financial solution. Because money is decision. Money is behavior. Money is the repetition of small choices. And small choices require clarity. A mind in maximum alert wants immediate relief, and that often leads to short-term decisions that worsen the problem. Impulsive spending to numb out, avoidance so you don't have to feel, unrealistic promises, emotional bets. When you calm down, you can tolerate discomfort without sabotaging yourself, and that is financial maturity. You don't have to be a machine, you have to be steady. Think of this as a flow. Money is also flow. It comes in, it goes out, it circulates. When you are in panic, you interrupt flow with contraction. You contract your body, contract your mind, contract your vision. And then, even when an opportunity appears, you don't see it, or you don't believe it, or you can't sustain it. When you create inner safety, you make room for flow to circulate with more intelligence. You begin to ask better questions. You begin to observe your patterns without destroying yourself. You begin to identify leaks. You begin to strengthen income. You begin to build a field of prosperity that doesn't rely on luck, but on consistency. And here is the identity shift that changes everything. You are not someone broken trying to be prosperous. You are someone prosperous in construction, learning to reorganize your world. Prosperity is not an event. It is a pattern. It is a kind of relationship with reality. It is the ability to face numbers and make aligned choices. It is the courage to say no to what drains you and yes to what strengthens you. It is the patience to build, even when no one is applauding. And it begins now, in the quiet of your interior. In the moment you choose safety instead of self-attack. If you are living under financial pressure, part of you may be constantly expecting a catastrophe, as if the floor could disappear at any time. That expectation wears you down. It steals energy. It makes you live in the future. And the future, when fed by fear, becomes a bad movie playing on repeat. Today, you can interrupt that movie with a simple decision. I return to the present and choose the next real step. The present is the only place where you can act. The present is the only place where you can negotiate, reorganize, research, learn, adjust. The present is where your recovery happens. You might be thinking, but the situation is serious. And it may be. And precisely because it is serious, you need clarity, not panic. Panic doesn't pay a bill. Panic doesn't create income. Panic doesn't negotiate interest. Panic doesn't improve decision-making. Panic only exhausts you. A serious reality requires a steady mind, and a steady mind is built on a body that feels safe enough to think. Now take this idea with you as a deep mantra. Safety is the foundation of strategy. When you feel safe, you think clearly. When you think clearly, you choose better. When you choose better, you change the outcome. And when the outcome changes, your identity strengthens. You begin to trust yourself again. And that trust is one of the most valuable assets on your financial path because it keeps you moving. I want you to notice something. You don't need to feel motivated to begin. You need to feel minimally safe. Motivation is volatile. Safety is structural. And you can build safety through small daily proofs to your nervous system. Proof that you can look. Proof that you can choose. Proof that you can tell the truth without collapsing. Proof that you can reorganize. This creates a new energetic field, the field of your inner adult who cares, who guides, who leads. And when you lead yourself, money stops being a monster and becomes a tool. A tool you learn to use with respect. You don't have to love money. You have to stop fearing it as if it defined your life. It shapes choices. It does not define your essence. Your essence is bigger. And when you remember that, something loosens in your chest. The mind breathes, and clarity begins to form. So from this calmer place, imagine you opening a portal into the next phase. Not a distant, mystical portal, but a practical one. The portal of seeing things as they are and acting with dignity. You cross that portal when you stop punishing yourself and start orienting yourself. You cross when you choose truth with gentleness. You cross when you decide that your worth is not in numbers, but that numbers can be organized by you. You cross when you claim, "I will recover." And that sentence doesn't need drama. It needs consistency. If something in you recognized itself here, I invite you to comment. What is the next real step you can take in the next 24 hours, from more safety and more clarity? One sentence, one gesture, one decision. Sometimes the shift begins with something simple, but firm. And the striking phrase I want to leave with you today is this: when you feel safe, you become intelligent again. And when you become intelligent again, you become free again. I am the voice of the SeelenFülle channel. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and activate the bell to receive daily meditations and content for abundance, prosperity, and success.